This is Rambo, First Blood Part 2. Starring Sylvester Stallone, Richard Crenna, and Charles Napier. Basically, the story is as follows. John Rambo, of course, was sent to prison at the end of the last movie because of all the damage and all the illegal activity that went on in the last movie. And he's approached by his former superior, Colonel Trapman, who was in the first one, obviously. And the government is looking for American MIAs still over in Vietnam. They're still being held. The man in charge of the mission is Murdoch, and he tells Rambo that his job is to go in and confirm their presence by taking photographs. Okay, so Rambo senses that Murdoch is not what he seems. He kind of doesn't like him. You can kind of tell when he looks at him. He's like, another politician behind the war machine, you know, that doesn't know what he's talking about, kind of a thing. Rambo goes in to take photographs, but also takes one of the prisoners with him. When Murdoch learns of this, he orders the chopper that's supposed to pick him up after the you know, the cup. There was a spot where he was supposed to get picked up. Okay, so he goes, he's got the prisoner, but Murdoch orders the chopper away. So Rambo was captured. Obviously, Murdoch's desire was not to find anybody. Trapman warns him that Rambo's going to come after him, but Trapman doesn't give a shit, obviously. And that's exactly what Rambo wants to do. He's going after the Vietnamese and the Russians and try to take out as many as he can. And then he's going to turn around and he's going to come after Murdoch. And that's basically the story. You know, he was pretty much duped into this, and for the most part, it's very, very, an interesting story. You know, they wanted a little bit of a change of pace, and that's why I love this movie. I love how far-fetched this movie is. I love that Rambo is able to withstand hours and hours of torture, and he has got enough energy to escape into the jungle and take on the whole Vietnamese army. I think it's cool, but that's what this movie is about. It's that's why it's so entertaining. I don't know. This is a good second part because it kind of First Blood and Rambo First Blood Part 2 are just different. They have two different characters, but you know they're the same characters, but that's where it ends. You know, First Blood was a tightly wound, excellent action picture, directed very well by Ted Kotcheff. Rambo First Blood Part 2 is an action extravaganza. It's not as high on the psychological element the way the first one was. They're both excellent films, but I find they're both entertaining for different reasons. You know, one of the reasons I find this one really entertaining is because I like the fact that they made Rambo a larger-than-life character in this movie. He's the ultimate fighting machine in this movie. I mean, it's unmatched in a lot of other movies I can think of. Just fantastic. One of the greatest action movies ever. His only desire is to win the war that someone else lost. And if winning means he has to die, then he'll die. He's no fear. He's got no regrets. That is what makes Rambo First Blood Part 2 the ultimate fighting machine and the ultimate movie character for Rambo First Blood Part 2. I just think it was just great. It was a great way to kind of transition out of the first one, and you still get the strong character in this movie. They didn't go totally away from it like they did in the third one. I like that fact that they stuck to it. There's some really gruesome torture scenes in this movie where there's a leech on Rambo, and the guy cuts it off with a knife, and it's just like a memorable scene, you know. And you know, so yeah, I think it was a really good movie. I like the fact that he teamed up with the female Vietnamese lady in the movie. It was kind of cool to see his relationship with her. You know, kind of course, she tragically dies in the movie, but yeah, this movie's just fun. This movie's just a fun action movie. I like the fact that they kept his character, and they didn't lose it too much, but they just did the action over the top. They made him larger than life. That's what makes this movie fun. I still like First Blood and Rambo, the characters of Rambo and those movies the best, but this is a very, very close second to those movies for me. I really felt that it was a good difference in the two movies. They didn't want to make the same movie over again, which is, you know, why they kind of got a little bit out of the Rambo character, the psychological part of it, and really brought him, you know, into, you know, just a pure action zone. And you know, and of course in the mid '80s, the MIA POW thing was, you know, was still, you know, there's a lot of people talking about it today. There's a lot of people in the '80s that believed that we had POWs still that hadn't been rescued. There was a lot of people that believed that through the '80s and stuff like that. So it was a subject matter that was really prevalent in 1985 and, you know, a couple years before that. Yeah, Stallone was great in this movie. You know, he's always awesome. I mean, obviously, I'm a little bit biased because this is the Stallone channel, but I thought he was great in this movie. Colonel Trapman was pretty good in this movie. The less they use of him, the better, I think, in a movie. That's why I thought there was too much of him in the third one. But this one was good. I give this movie a solid 9. I think it's just below First Blood and the newest Rambo for me. Just under. I mean, just barely. This is a great action movie. One of my favorite action movies of all time. Just a great movie. Just a great movie. You know, of course, that famous line in the movie when he's talking to Murdoch, when Rambo picks up the mic and he says, "Murdoch, I'm coming to get you." You know, and you're like, oh my gosh. And he comes back, he's got the M60 machine gun, and he just blows the crap out of all the computers and stuff. It's freaking awesome. You know, and some really fun action in this movie. Some good, you know, gunfights, and some good hand-to-hand combat, and some really good explosions, good practical effects. So this movie is great. I love this movie. I really love this movie. Like I said, it's probably one of the best action movies I've ever seen. So thanks, guys, for watching. Check out my other videos on the channel. So we'll see you real soon right here.